we are kicking things off with the wildfire situation. The North Carolina Forest Service has lifted burn restrictions in 81 counties, but officials are sounding a serious warning because dry conditions are still persisting across the state. We dive into what this means for residents and what the lingering risks truly are.
Never get caught with a dead phone again. This INIU portable charger is compact, travel-friendly, and gives you fast 45-watt charging with a built-in USB-C cable, so there's no need to carry extra cords. With 10,000 mAh power, it's perfect for busy days, trips, emergencies, or anytime your battery drops too low. Grab yours on Amazon through the link in the comments before your phone hits 1%.
Next up, we have some serious legal action in the news. The Secret Service has taken action after arresting a South Carolina man in Apex for a federal charge of threatening the president. We break down what led to this arrest and the serious federal charges he is now facing. Now shifting gears to the healthcare landscape, a massive deal is shaking up the triangle. WakeMed is facing a takeover by Charlotte-based Atrium Health, and state and local officials are raising major alarms about the implications for jobs, costs, and competition in the region. And finally, we wrap up with a tragic accident story. A 41-year-old man was pronounced dead after a severe tractor-trailer crash on I-90 in Cayuga County. We look at what state police know so far as the investigation continues. Stay with us for the rest of the broadcast. The statewide burn ban in North Carolina is easing, with restrictions lifted in 81 counties by the North Carolina Forest Service, but officials caution that wildfire risk remains due to persistent dry conditions. The decision to lift restrictions is attributed to varying rainfall across the state, with officials emphasizing that significant, soaking rain is crucial for drought recovery and wildfire mitigation. The statewide ban was initially implemented in March following weeks of high temperatures, windy conditions, and minimal rainfall, which had escalated wildfire danger. While recent rain has improved conditions, the state is still grappling with drought. According to Philip Jackson of the NC Forest Service, the improved weather pattern is a positive step, shifting from prolonged dry spells to more unsettled weather. Officials noted that firefighting conditions have also improved, making fire containment easier compared to earlier in the year. Furthermore, spring greenup is contributing to reduced fire intensity, as vegetation reaching full growth tends to be more fire-resistant. Despite the lifted restrictions, local officials, particularly in western North Carolina counties, are urging residents to exercise caution when conducting any type of burning, including recreational fires like those from fire pits or chimney fires, due to the existing fuel load from recent weather events. In parallel, the U.S. Forest Service also lifted fire restrictions across the 4 national forests in North Carolina, including Pisgah and Nantahala National Forests, citing recent rain as a factor in reducing fire danger. This allows visitors to once again build campfires and use camp stoves in these areas. However, restrictions on open burning in the Roan Mountain area of the Pisgah National Forest remain in place due to lingering wildfire risks after Hurricane Helene. The NC Forest Service continues to monitor conditions statewide and may reinstate the burn ban should weather patterns deteriorate. A South Carolina man has been arrested in North Carolina on federal charges of threatening the president. Daniel R. Swain, 41, of Summerville, South Carolina, was taken into custody in Apex by the Secret Service on a federal warrant. The warrant was issued based on a criminal complaint alleging that Swain made threats against the president. The complaint reportedly originated after concerned citizens contacted the Apex Police Department after observing the message, "Headed to WSH to kill the PRES," written on the driver's side window of Swain's vehicle. Swain is officially charged with making threats against the president, a federal offense that carries a maximum penalty of up to 5 years in prison if convicted, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of North Carolina. The case is currently under investigation by both the Secret Service and the Apex Police Department, with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of North Carolina handling the prosecution. Officials from the U.S. Attorney's Office for EDNC emphasized that the criminal complaint is an accusation, and Swain is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. A proposed takeover of Raleigh-based WakeMed by Charlotte-based Atrium Health has ignited significant skepticism and opposition from state and local officials across the political spectrum. The deal, which would integrate WakeMed into the larger Atrium healthcare network, has prompted intense scrutiny regarding job creation, financial implications, and the future competitive landscape of the Triangle region. The proposed transaction involves WakeMed retaining its legal entity name, but operating under Atrium management. While Atrium promises to inject substantial investment, approximately $2 billion, to expand WakeMed's footprint, including redevelopment of the Raleigh campus and expansion in Cary and North Raleigh, local leaders are voicing strong reservations. Raleigh Mayor Janet Cowell expressed doubt about the promised job creation, stating there is no additional community benefit beyond existing growth. Proponents argue the merger is necessary to help WakeMed compete against established rivals like UNC Health and Duke Health, capitalizing on the growing demand for healthcare infrastructure driven by an aging population. Atrium, one of the nation's fourth-largest hospital chains by revenue, seeks access to the lucrative Wake County market. However, concerns center on potential cost increases. Officials, including State Treasurer Brad Briner, have questioned the necessity of the merger for WakeMed's financing. Critics warn that consolidation can lead to higher healthcare prices, citing historical precedents and academic research suggesting that mergers often result in increased costs and reduced competition. The State Employees Association of North Carolina has voiced fears that the deal could raise insurance and medical care costs for state employees. The path to approval remains complex. While the WakeMed board has approved the deal, the final step requires approval from the Wake County Board of Commissioners regarding changes to the hospital's articles of incorporation. State and local officials have pressured for a delay, arguing that the transaction requires full public engagement and debate rather than being rushed through via a consent agenda. Furthermore, state and federal regulators, including the Department of Justice, could potentially block the deal, though legal hurdles are substantial. WakeMed CEO Don Jinsig has warned that without the deal, the hospital faces an existential crisis and could cease to exist within a few years, leaving only UNC and Duke as major options. Despite opposition, the deal is moving forward, with ongoing calls from lawmakers for greater transparency and public hearings to thoroughly examine the merger's details and its potential impact on the community. A 41-year-old man has died following a serious traffic collision involving a tractor-trailer on Interstate 90 in Cayuga County, North Carolina. The incident occurred on Monday morning at approximately 4:17 a.m. in the town of Mentz, according to reports from the North Carolina Highway Express Corridor, WHECCOM. State police have released preliminary findings indicating that the accident was caused by a vehicle that crossed the center line and entered the eastbound lane. This vehicle subsequently struck a guardrail before stopping partially in the right lane on a curve in the road. Investigators confirmed that a tractor-trailer traveling eastbound was able to maneuver around the initial vehicle. However, state police reported that a second tractor-trailer subsequently struck the vehicle. The driver of the struck vehicle, identified as Robert McFall, was pronounced dead at the scene. Fortunately, the driver of the eastbound tractor-trailer, who is from Florida, was reported to be uninjured in the crash. Authorities have confirmed that the investigation into the circumstances surrounding the crash is ongoing.